Hello, everybody. It's Stephen here for another episode of the Idiot Quilter for what's today's date? November 26, 2024. Almost into December, aren't we? And it is episode number 288. And happy Thanksgiving to all of my American subscribers. I know it's a big day for lots of you, and it also is kind of the official kickoff after Black Friday to the Christmas season. And of course, everybody's asking you at this point in time, have you got your Christmas shopping done? Don't you hate that? No, I haven't. I don't have anything to buy. So that's easy for me. Okay, moving right along, let's take a look at what I've been working on and talk about a few things with these little projects that I have. Let's see, where am I? Here I am. Okay, showed this one a little bit earlier. Showed it on Stephen and Walter Live, and I think I may have showed it on So Chatty, can't remember. Anyways, you're seeing it again because I love it. It is my latest Quilt of Valor quilt. This is done with the kit that was provided to us on the day that we went for the sew day with the Quilt of Valor down in Trenton, Ontario. And I thought it was a little plain. I think that when you're giving a Quilt of Valor to a vet, it should be something very special. And if I had just left it with the kit that I had, well, it would just be the bluey gray squares and rectangles and the white ones. So I decided to just add a few touches of my own, and that's the maple leaves that you see in the middle and at each corner. And that is maple leaf fabric that's in sort of the same color shades as what we were given in the kit. I had that in my stash, excuse me. And what I did was I created using Artistic Digitizer, which is the Janome digitizing program for the embroidery machine. And I made a maple leaf applique. And so I did each of those blocks that have a maple leaf in them in the hoop on my machine. It's faster. Well, I probably spent more time making the pattern or making the applique than I did if I just traced it, cut it out, and sewed it with my machine. But of course, it has a nice satin stitch all the way around it too, which seals off the raw edges. And yeah, and I just love doing that kind of thing. So I did that. And I also added the inner and outer borders as well from fabrics in my stash. So I'm very pleased with the way the top has turned out. And this is just the top. It's sitting in the Lucy room. I have to get at it. I don't think I'm probably going to get it quilted until after into the new year. I don't know, maybe sooner than that, but I'm really busy with a whole lot of other things, that have to do with Christmas, like everybody is at this time of the year. And I don't think I have any backing fabric that I want for this, so I may have to order something. I'll see. But anyways, there isn't a great deal, there isn't a rush on this, but I would like to get it done and into the hands of the Quilt of Valor people. Okay. Here is my trip down death row here. Well, yeah. I've been having trouble with this. This is the big block, and you have to make two of them, for the Barnstar Sampler quilt that I decided to revisit, that I started about 2 years ago and gave up on. And I gave up on it with the block. I almost did this time too, but I have made the blocks work. I did get a very extensive email from one of my subscribers, Maureen, and Maureen gave me a whole lot of tips and tricks I could try to get these blocks to fit together properly. As she said in her email, when you're dealing with a block with a lot of little tiny units, it's so easy for things not to fit together. And yes, Maureen, I agree with you completely on that. And thank you for the tips. Most of them, they are... I tried. I thought of those. And as I said, the one thing that really stood out is what somebody told me, or I forget, I think we were talking about it on with Stephanie and Stephen last Wednesday, about the dangers of steam. Now, I have heard this from many people, many sources, and it's one of those things, to use steam or not to use steam. It's like, do you wash your fabrics before you start making a quilt, or do you wash them after? Do you wait until you get the quilt done, then wash the quilt? And there's all kinds of people out there, that are divided on those issues. And the same with steam. Well, I have to say that it made a difference. I'm a steamer. Okay. I try not to stretch my units or my fabric when I'm steaming, but I'm a steamer. And I've got to get out of that habit, I think. Because when I did the second block of the two that are there, I didn't use steam. And things fit a little better. They weren't perfect in terms of, measurements. I had to do a little finagling, a little fine trimming here and a little fine trimming there. But the steam did actually, without steam, it did make a difference. And who would have thought? Well, I know a lot of people did, but not me. I was blind to that. I thought, no, that's not going to make any difference with modern fabrics. Modern fabrics don't shrink. Yes, they do. Not a lot, but that is what I think was my major problem, because I was constantly steaming every piece. I was shrinking them slightly. And you might shrink one piece just very, very slight, like a smidgen of an inch, like a 16th or a 32nd. But you start to multiply that over the number of pieces that are in this block, and that adds up. So I think that was the culprit. But I'm very happy now these two blocks are done. So now I can move on to the other blocks in this sampler quilt. Now, people have said that once you get past the blocks, these two, the other ones are a piece of cake. So we shall see what we shall see with that. So, yeah, that's my story about steam and how it may have been doing me dirt. Okay, so another thing that we are working on So Chatty, as you know, Walter and I have started a new series, a short series. It's only going to be about 3 weeks of it. We've already done the first week, and this is the Gingerbread Windmill. It is a 3D object. It is a combination of FSL, which stands for freestanding lace, and FSA, freestanding applique. And it will all stand up. It's three-dimensional when parts all go together. There's about 18 pieces. Here you see about half of them. And our idea was that I would do 9 out of the 18 on my machine. Walter would do 9 out of 18 on his embroidery machine. And then we would show, how this works. And that's what's coming up on So Chatty this week. And then the next week, we will show you how we assemble all of these pieces. So, yeah, that's what's happening now with all of this. I have made all the pieces, though. Walter's busy with some other things. He's busy planning our trip to Holland, which doesn't happen till the spring, but he gets involved with that. He's got a couple of bags he needs to make as well. So I said to him, look, I'll just do them. Don't worry about it. And to be quite honest, when you're doing a video like this, it's kind of difficult if two of us are working on the same project, but in separate rooms on separate machines, like trying to tie in video for it all. And also, we found that I didn't need to record. God, I live in the 80s. I didn't need to record every piece being done, because pretty much once you've done one or two of them, the rest are all the same. So yeah, so I'm trying to keep the video reasonably short, but at the same time go over, tips and tricks and problems one could have doing this kind of project. So those are some of the pieces. As I said, I actually have all the pieces done now. So stay tuned for So Chatty this week, and we will be explaining tips and tricks on how to do in the hoop 3D objects using freestanding lace and freestanding applique. Okay, that was a bit of a mouthful. All right, let's pop back here to me. And yeah, let's talk about announcements and things. So on Wednesdays, we have Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen. It starts at 9 o'clock. It's Zoom. Link is in the show notes below. Everybody is welcome. Okay, I don't think I need to say anything more about that. It's a great group, but we are not a closed group, meaning that anybody is welcome and you will be welcomed, believe me. Okay, so what other things happened in the past week that are exciting? I got new fabric. Now, if you saw So Chatty on this past Friday, you will know Walter and I opened each other's Christmas presents early. And there's a story behind why we did that, and it's on So Chatty. So I'm not going to go over it again, but you can check that out and find out why. But what Walter gave me was a couple of fabric bundles of Jason Yenter fabric. Jason Yenter fabric is not easy to get in our area, and he found it at Quilter's Cupboard, a place just north of us. And he ordered it, and it came, and it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Now on So Chatty, I just showed you the bundles, and don't you hate opening up a bundle of fabric because they're always so tied up so nicely and they look so pretty, that kind of thing? But I did for you. I opened it up, and I'll show you in a little bit more detail the loveliness of these fabrics. And so here they are. Okay, so you saw on So Chatty last week that Walter and I gave each other our Christmas gifts for each other early. And this is what Walter gave me. And this is beautiful fabric. And the one is a half meter bundle, 9 pieces. It's called Vivid. And this is by, and I always have to look up his name, Jason Yoder. Both of these are by Jason Yoder. These are very difficult to get. His designs are very difficult to get here in Canada, but Walter found them at the Quilter's Cupboard, which is a place north of us, which has undergone in the last year new owners, and I think the new owners are a little bit more with it when it comes to designer fabrics and things like that. Previously, they sold a lot of the more traditional looks. I used to call them old lady fabrics. Used to call them, still do. You know, the Civil War reproductions, 1930s reproductions, that kind of stuff, which has its place. For me, it's not my usual go-to, but something like this with the vivid colors really is. So this one's called Vivid, appropriately entitled, and this is called Prism 2, and this is a fat quarter bundle. So let's just take the ribbon off. I hate to open them in some ways because they're so pretty, but they'll be even prettier in a quilt if I can figure out a pattern I want to do with these. So let's get the strings out of the way. Let's take a look first at the half meter bundle. We'll lay them out here so you can see. This is reminiscent to me of Tula Pink, and at first when I looked at it I thought Tula Pink, but then I realized it is not, and so that's fine. And of course once you see it opened up to like this, you can definitely tell it is not Tula Pink. And of course all of this bundle coordinates together. That's a really nice purple with sort of a flowery burst. I don't know, what do you call that? It looks like maybe a mum or something like that. This is pretty as well. And these little droplets. This is another sort of a starburst-like color. I'm not sure if on the computer screen these are really giving you the true lushness of the color, but they are. They're very lovely. And this has sort of got this intermittent ombre happening in it, which is kind of cool. And then this, they're all very, very nice. Now this one is the same as that one up here, but it's just in a different colorway. And I don't usually gravitate towards greens, but I'm really liking this one, the way, again, the ombre that's in this. And this last one, which is somewhat reminiscent of this very first one, but it is different. So there's 9 half meter cuts here. Very, very lovely. All right, well, let's move these out of our way for a moment and take a look at the fat quarter bundle. And there are, what did it say on the tag? There are 22 pieces in this. So, ooh, I'm going to look for a pattern that I like that specifically uses fat quarters for this set. But let's take a look at them. So, there's that. And again, I do like purples. My favorite color is blues, but you see this one kind of combines those two colors together, the blue and the purple.
The same with this, except a little lighter purple. And of course, all of these coordinate with each other, as they do in bundles. But again, very nice. So this one's very heavy in the purpley shades. Let's move this one out of the way for a minute. And then we have, okay, well, let's pile those up. Let's keep the colorways together, shall we? So we have now sort of the reddy, rosy pinks, nice floral. Again, a floral. And then we move into sort of the more reddy, orangey shades with a little bit of rust. And then the yellow. Very pretty. I guess this one could go in that grouping too. Put it up in there. And then let's pile these up. Then we have the greens. There's another green in here. And these all have sort of a fern print to them. So it's a botanical kind of look. Not all of them are botanical, like this one isn't. It's more swirls, that kind of thing. Into the blues, and of course, you know, these are my favorite because I absolutely love blue. That's a nice shade of blue, and so is that. Very complementary to that as well. And then a little bit darker, again with the florals. And then we move into sort of an aqua, so we have, you know, aqua and green. And this one was on the bottom, but it really should go in our, see if I can get this in here a little bit better. There we go. That kind of goes in with that grouping right there. So very, very, move my camera just again. Sorry for the movement, trying to get it all in the shot, but very, very pretty. So I am loving this set of fabrics. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. So I want to find a really special pattern that I will do these with. I'm even thinking of redoing my When Stars Collide pattern, my own pattern, and actually making it a little bigger and possibly doing it with these colors. I think that would look stunning in that. I don't know yet. We'll see. And I'll let you know when I have it figured out. So that was Christmas for me.
So this past week, as I've already mentioned with So Chatty, we started the new series on the Gingerbread Windmill. And the first segment on Friday, if you haven't seen it yet, is about how you read the pattern and the files, how you set yourself up for doing this. And we break all the, well, not the rules, but we don't follow the instructions that come with the embroidery files. We do our own thing. And I think our thing in some ways is a little better. It's faster and you get the same result at the end, and there's not a whole lot of extra steps as these instructions, or a whole lot of extra materials like in stabilizers and that. And I swear these companies put those kind of instructions together just to sell more stabilizer. But anyways, if you haven't seen it, you might want to tune into it. A reminder that there is a link to the Hope Air raffle. That's for the quilt that I donated to that organization. I had an extensive discussion with you about my disappointment with this organization on Stephen and Walter Live. I'm not going to go over it again. But yeah, and I'm very disillusioned with charities right now. Very much so. And Hope Air is one of the ones I'm very disillusioned with. So yeah, I'm not going to say any more about it because we talked about it extensively on Stephen and Walter Live. So you can watch the rebroadcast of that if you didn't see it and find out what I'm talking about. Okay, so we be a little wary this time of the year about sales in every kind of store, but also be wary of specials that are coming up from quilt stores. Of course, we all want to give people fabric if they're a quilter or they're somebody who is a sewist, We want to receive it as well. And it's very enticing to overshoot your Christmas budget when you see the sales. Now, some stores have tricks to get you to buy. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with these tricks, and they're not devious, but obviously, it's the time of year when all retailers, whether they're in the quilting business or whatever kind of retail business, this is when the biggest time of the year where, they can probably move into the back in their book because they do the most sales of the whole year. And we get that. And of course, they're trying to entice us to buy more and to buy their products. So they have gimmicks, tricks. It might be something as simple as a certain percentage off, or it might be a contest or whatever. Excuse me, frog in my throat. Well, and I'm just as susceptible to those things as anybody else because I get all excited. And one example of that is with the store I just mentioned, Quilter's Cupboard, that's north of us. They're running Reindeer Games. Now, we talked about those on Stephen and Walter Live, so I'm not going to go over them again, but I'm just going to say be a little wary about the specials. I have noticed, and this seems to be a general trend online, where stores will show you, and it doesn't matter whether it's a quilt store or any kind of store, any store does this, they will show you the regular price with a line through it, and then they show you the supposed sale price. If you come back to that page after Christmas or 2 weeks later or something, look at the same item, you'll probably see the same thing going on. This is a selling trick that a lot of online stores do. I think this is something that is part of the software they use. Their point of sale system does this for them automatically. I'm not saying it's necessarily devious, but I am saying it's getting you to buy more. And if you want that thing, buy it. Yeah, what the heck, eh? I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying be aware. Because sometimes what we see is the sale price and we think, oh, they say, you're saving $5. Well, we all want to save, right? And this type of selling technique's been going on for, since the beginning of time. It gets us hyped up. Something happens to us. Dopamine or something shoots off into our brain and we go, oh, the money I'm saving, I can use that money I'm saving, buy more of something else. And look, I'm saving on that, so I can go over here and buy some more of that. Well, if you didn't really need the item in the first place, and the only reason you're buying is because you think you're getting a bargain, are you really saving? You understand what I mean? So anyways, that gets us going. Well, with the technique that's being used by Quilter's Cupboard, the Reindeer Games, they have something on sale every day. But if you want it, you have to buy it right then on that day. You have to buy it online and you have to close out your cart after you're finished for that day. Even though there may be more days, and there's 8 of them in a row that have other things on sale. You have to close it out that day. And pay for it. All right. So instead of waiting until the end of the week, after all the sales have come up, and then going into your cart and closing it out. Now, here's my idea of why they do that. We are enticed by sales, as I've already said, and they are doing videos showing you what's up there for sale, which is great. I love the videos, okay, showing me this. I don't have a problem with that. I don't really have a problem with this at all. I'm just making you aware of how it affects our psyche, our selling psyche. So if we were to take all those things and go, oh, yeah, I'd love that. Put that in the cart. Oh, I'd love that too. Oh, that's a good price. Put that in the cart. And you do that for 8 days in a row, the length of time when the sale's on, and then go to your cart to close it out. You've had 7 days before the 8th day to think about what you put in your cart. And you might decide, oh, wait, calmer head is taken over. Do I really need that? No. Bang. And when you see what the total cart amount is going to be, you probably think, oh, I should pare that down a little bit. That might be a little more than I want to spend. Well, they know that, stores that do this. That's why they want your money now. So, bang, buying every day. And it's working on me. Sure is. I bought a huge cutting mat, an expensive item. It's about $50 off. It was a great price. I've been looking at these mats and needed one. I don't have it yet. It's a pre-order to come in by December the 11th. We'll see. So fine. And that was all I was going to buy. But I've been watching their little videos each day as they've been coming out. So the other day, there were a couple of items there that I thought, like those. And again, it worked on me. So I put them in the cart and paid for them. Now, I know that if I had been adding things every day to the cart and I got to the last day, I would review the cart and I would be taking things out. So you got to watch yourself. It's easy to get caught up in all of this. And it's not just quilt stores. As I said, it doesn't matter where you're shopping. At Christmas time, we all get caught up in the spirit of giving, supposedly. And, a lot of times that's giving to ourselves because we go, oh, that's great. I know Marge would love that. I'll get her that. I'd love it too. I'll just get one for myself too. Because they're on sale. It's 20% off. So I'm saving. Look at that. I bought 2 of them, saving 40%. No. That's crazy math. That's not really how it works. Okay? So just be careful. You don't want to go into debt for fabric. Because we probably already have too much as it is. So anyways, I just wanted to tell you about that a little bit. Now, one of the items, though, that they had on sale on the Quilter's cover were these alphabet clips. Basically, they're wonder clips with the alphabet on them. A, B, C, D across. And the idea, when you're cutting your fabric and you're putting them into, this is fabric A, or this is, piece A, piece B, this kind of stuff. You have multiples of them. I don't know about you, but I stick a sticky note on them with a clip. And then the sticky notes get all crappy and curled up, and I forget to put them back on. So I have been looking at these, and there's different ones. There's ones that are pins that have numbers on them on the head of the pin and things like that. Something called alphabetties or something like that. Biddies, alphabetties, and that. But they're expensive. And these clips they had were expensive too. So I got thinking about it. I almost bought them because I wanted them. I thought, well, wait. They're really just a wonder clip with a letter or a number on them. I could make my own. I had these wide wonder clips, and I'm calling them wonder clips, but they're not wonder clips. They're wonder clip like. I probably bought a big bag of them from Temu or something. And I don't use that size that often, but I thought, hey, I've got a Sharpie. Why don't I put my own letters and numbers on them? And that's what I did. And so I'm going to show you how I'm going to be using those. So recently I saw one of the quilt stores in my area offering these alphanumeric little clips. They look like wonder clips, but they had embossed on them the letters of the alphabet and the numbers 1 through to 9. And of course you use those for, when you're cutting out your fabric. You can label each of your fabric pieces, A, fabric B, fabric C, etc. Well, you can buy these, and they're expensive. They're like $31. They were offering them all, and that was on a special for a set. And I got thinking, well, I have these big pseudo wonder clips. They're a little bigger than the usual wonder clips. I can't remember if they're actually a knockoff or they are wonder clips in themselves. I think they were a knockoff, and I've had them for quite a while, and I don't use them a lot. So I thought, well, why not take a Sharpie and put the letters of the alphabet on them? And so I did. Now, at first I thought the Sharpie might wipe off, but I let the Sharpie dry, and then I ran my finger over it very vigorously, and it didn't come off. So that's a good thing. So I made letters A to Z and numbers 1 through to 9. And on this little basket that I have them in, I just clipped them in alphabetical order all the way around the basket. And the ones that I think I got from A to P on here, which is plenty, but I have the rest of them and the numbers inside the basket. So this is going to sit on my cutting table. And when I'm cutting my fabric and I need to label them for the fabric types, I will just pull one of these off and use it. So that didn't cost me much of anything. Oh, and if you're interested, the little basket I made on my 3D printer, it was one I had laying around, so that's why I'm using it. But I think this is going to work out really well. I'll let you know once I get going with it. Besides, it's pretty. It's also pretty. So I'm really proud of myself with that. Now, I know it's a simple idea. Why didn't I think of doing that before? This wasn't rocket science here, but I didn't. And so there you go. Cost me next to nothing, really. I had the clips, the whole bit. And I'm a little proud of the fact that I had that little basket. Actually, it's a 3D printed basket. I made it some time ago and never used it for anything. And the way I put the clips around it, so it's organized. So my clips aren't all over the room and I know what's there. I just have to keep it organized that way. That's the trick. That's the trick. Although for me, that's not really a trick. I'm a very organized person. So yeah, I am proud of myself, pat myself on the back. Yeah, I know you're all going to go, oh, where have you been? You know, I've done this for 1,000 years. Yeah, you probably did, but it was new to me. Okay, subscribers quilt of the week. This comes from Sue McKeon. I hope I'm saying her name right. Sorry, Sue. This week's quilt from a subscriber comes from Sue McKeon, and Sue sent me this beautiful creation, but she didn't send me any explanation of it, so let's just look at it closely and come up with our own, shall we? Well, I love the colors. They're all rainbow. They're all graduated across. I love the use of the black. The black really makes the colors pop. I love the foot in the picture. Just joking here, but I really love the piano key border that she put around too, which is all the same colors that are in the center part of the quilt. I think this is really quite stunning, has a very modern feel to it, and I think this might just be the quilt top, so it hasn't been quilted yet, or at least at the time of the photo, when the photo was taken, it hadn't been sandwiched and quilted yet. And it would be interesting to know, Sue, what quilting you're going to do on it, what you might have in mind, since I do think this looks very modern. But I think it's great. And, you know, this would be a great stash buster for scraps. Also, if you've got a lot of scraps of solids, it would work very well in this too. So thank you, Sue. Gorgeous quilt. Love the vibe that it puts out. Thanks for sending it to me. And if you have a quilt you would like me to feature on here, or a creation of some sort, doesn't necessarily have to be a quilt, could be a bag, it could be a garment, could be a banner, could be a table runner, placemats, whatever, then send me one picture of it to my email address, just one picture please, and a little blurb about it, no more than 50 words. And I'll be happy to present it here on the Idiot Quilter. Okay, so that takes me to the YouTube channel of the week. And of course, we're all getting into the mood for Christmas, and we're probably in the mood for not just buying gifts and things like that, but we're probably thinking about our homes, thinking about our decor for Christmas. And if you're like me, I like to make something to add to my Christmas decoration collection new every year. And that's a problem because there's so many cool things, especially for machine embroidery. So here's a YouTube video that shows you exactly what I'm speaking about. This week's YouTube video clip is for you who have embroidery machines, or even for those of you that might be thinking of buying an embroidery machine. At this time of the year, at Christmas, when you're thinking of Christmas gifts and the whole bit, your embroidery machine is a godsend because there are so many different things you can make. Embroidery machines are not just for monogramming towels, okay? And this particular video from Embroidery Library, called New Holiday Wall Hanging, New Designs and Bestsellers, tells you all about various projects that are great for the Christmas season and great for gifts or for home decor. Now, yes, they are selling their designs on this video, but their designs are not that expensive. And I buy extensively from Embroidery Library along with some other sites too. So if you're looking for holiday ideas, for gift ideas or home decor, and you have an embroidery machine, now's the time to check this out because I'm sure you're going to find something that's going to get you really excited. And for those of you that don't have embroidery machines, you should watch this as well because, Santa might just put one under your tree if you want it. Okay, so if you see that video, watch that video, you might get some ideas and it might be dangerous, especially dangerous for those of you with an embroidery machine. Okay, so future projects. Well, this is, speaking of Christmas, a Christmas table runner, and it's by my good friend Stephanie Stitches. And it is free right now up until Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving. And I have a link for it in the show notes below. It's a pretty fast project. I don't know if I'm going to get it done for this Christmas. I would like to, but like I said, I got a whole ton of projects, so many that I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed right now. But nevertheless, here's my description of this project. This week's future project comes from my good friend Stephanie of Stephanie Stitches. This is her design, and it's called the Christmas Tree Table Runner, and I think this is wonderful. There's so much versatility in this pattern. Yes, you can do it in the traditional red and green as shown here, but you could branch out and do this in whatever colors you want. Now, I have this design and this pattern, and I'm thinking about doing it. I just don't know if I'm going to have time to do it for this Christmas, but I do love it, and I think it will go together very, very fast. I've put a link to where you can pick up this pattern if you're interested. I think it's one of those kind of things that if you're looking for a last minute gift, hostess gift for a family member or whatever, or just for your home decor, I think you could put this together relatively quickly and it's going to look fantastic. And all of Stephanie's patterns are very easy to follow. They're very clearly written. I've made many of them and love the result every time. So if you're looking for something to do for Christmas this year, I highly suggest Stephanie Stitch's Christmas Tree Table Runner. Okay, so what am I working on? Well, I'm working on those sampler blocks. I'm working with the Yenter fabric. I'm looking for patterns to, show that fabric off. I'm working on the windmill, and I'm working on binding spools. So, here's what I'm working on. So, what have I been working on this week? Well, a lot of things. Oh, of course, you know that on So Chatty on last Friday, Walter and I started our series on this freestanding gingerbread windmill, and so now I have to make the video pieces, and my sewing machine or my embroidery machine and my hoop are ready for the next piece, and I've got my camera set up to video that. And then I got these beautiful fabrics that I've already shown you as well. I've got to find a pattern to work with these because I really want a pattern that will show these off and take full advantage of especially the fat quarters. So I'll be looking for a design for the fat quarters. And of course, I've been working on the Barn Starter sampler. Let me move back a little bit so you can see this. I'm just going to go around the other side of my pressing table or my cutting table. And there you go. These are the two biggest blocks of that quilt, and they have given me the worst time. The first one, I had to do a few things to get it to the 24.5 inches square that they wanted. And on the second one, which is the same block exactly in the same fabrics, I double checked everything. And even still, I had to be very careful when I was sewing it to make sure I got within the 24.5 inch square allowance. So it will look really nice when it's done. And apparently a lot of you that have tried this have said the same thing. You had a lot of problems with these two large blocks, but you said all the other blocks were really easy and it went together much faster. I spent a lot of time with these two to the point where I was almost thinking I was going to abandon this project. But now that I have these two done, I think I will continue with it. Again, I don't know when I'm going to get it done because I've got other projects, as you know. And some of those projects involve my Christmas gifts, and I am making a whole another set on my 3D printer of the binding spools that I showed a week ago on my Idiot Quilter episode. So I've got about 8 more, or I have to make about 8 in total. I can print 5 at a time, thanks to having 5 3D printers. So I've got to make 3 more, and with that, and hopefully today I will get those pretty much done. They take about 2 hours a piece to print out. So yeah, it's times like this when I'm glad I have a print mill. Other projects, well, I haven't anything more to show you, but I've got some new filament. I've got a cupboard full of filament that I just recently purchased, and one of those filaments is one I've never had before, and it's called a sparkly blue. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. I think I may make a dragon in that particular one because I think that would look really cool. And yeah, and then I've got all kinds of stuff out in the Lucy room to make a Christmas centerpiece, and I showed you a week ago or so the little houses and things that I was making. So yeah, there's always something going on. Okay, so that takes me to this week's online quilt store. Now, before I do that, I want to talk to you for a moment about something that disturbs me. Yeah. Okay, so a week ago, I believe it was, I reviewed a quilt store. You can go back to that video and check it out. And, I rate them. I started them with a 10 out of 10, and I take off a full point or half a point for each thing that I think bothers me. Well, what bothers me about them? Well, one, there's several categories of things that I use for my evaluations. I look at their overall organization. Are things easy to find on their website? Or do I have to browse through pages after pages of fabric and don't know where I'm going or what I'm looking at? What are their prices like? Are they lower than average? Are they about average? Are they above average? Okay. I look at their shipping policies. Are they clearly stated? Are they reasonable in price? All of that kind of thing. How is my order going to be shipped? How timely will it be shipped? I look at all of that. I also look at what else their site offers in terms of patterns, kits, classes, batting, thread, notions, all of that. And so I go through it. I look to make sure that the website, if I click on a link, does the link work? Broken links are very frustrating. So there are lots of factors I take into account when I evaluate a online store. Now, it is not my intention to bad mouth a store. I don't. I base my rating on my first impression and solely on the page, on their web page. They may have a brick and mortar store. I don't deal with that. Chances are I've never been to their brick and mortar store because I review quilt stores across Canada online. So probably not going to get to some of the ones out in BC when I live in Ontario or out in the Maritimes, okay? So I base it solely with what is presented to me by way of their website. So I try to be as fair and unbiased as I can. But someone took issue with me on the last review that I did. And that issue, what they wrote in the comments, was a little bit snarky. And basically, they didn't think that I had done a very fair job. And it's because that the person who runs the store is a wonderful human being and is a friend of this person's. I don't know that. I was evaluating the human being behind the store. I was evaluating, as I said, what I saw in front of me on the internet. I did write back and explain that to that lady, and you can go back to the comment section of that video. That was last week's Idiot Quilter episode, and you can read it for yourself and make up your own mind. Well, the owner of the store wanted me to give her a call about it, so I did. And, I didn't get a word in edgewise. She told me a whole lot about her personal history. which was, I don't know, how do you put it? I feel for her. She had a rough time. Um, but I wasn't judging her or evaluating her. She wanted to know how I could what my credentials were for. Did I have a certificate for evaluating stores? No, I don't. I don't need one. If you write a review on TripAdvisor, if you write a review on Amazon or anything like that, you don't need a certificate. You don't need training. In some ways, I do have a training because of my teaching background. You know, was kind of used to having to evaluate all the time. But it was never anything directed at the person. I didn't know the person. I don't know anything about the person's personal history. So I tried to answer her questions, and she wouldn't let me. She just kept talking over me. At one point, I did say to her, I was getting a little frustrated with her. I said, okay, if you are now finished, if you can just let me have a moment here to talk without being interrupted, I will explain things. So I started to explain. She immediately interrupted me and cut me off. I knew this was going to go nowhere. And I'll be honest, I was getting angry and I didn't want to say anything that was going to just make her even more upset. So I hung up on her. Yeah, I did. The ironic part of all of this is that I asked her at one point when I could get in a question, I asked her, have you ever seen my channel? Well, no, she doesn't have time to watch YouTube. And then she backed up for a second and said, well, she might have seen part of one or something. Okay, I know she never saw the review. She didn't see it because if she had seen it, she got a positive review. She ended up with an 8 out of 10. That's high for me. Most of the reviews I do average 6, maybe 6.5 out of 10. So hers was definitely a higher review. I didn't say anything derogatory. I had 2 criticisms. Both had to do with one broken link and the other one was a mistake in the way she was talking about shipping her product. She referred to the US, not Canada. Never said anything about Canada, which is ironic. She's in Canada. Okay. Obviously, that was something that got overlooked. It was probably cut and paste from some other source, and it didn't get proofread. It happens. Okay. Those were my only 2 criticisms. I did mention that the wide backing was on the, as I said, I have a scale, below average, average price, a little above. I found hers slightly above average. However, I did say, but wide backing is expensive for small stores. Something to that effect. So, I was basically giving a justification for why the price might be that way. I didn't slash her. I did unseam her from the nape to the chops. I didn't say anything horrible. So she obviously took the word of someone else, and I think it was probably the person who wrote the comment that I mentioned a moment ago. And I think my theory is the person who wrote that comment is a good friend of hers, and she was helping out her friend, protecting her friend, thinking that I was being nasty to her friend. I wasn't. And got her all upset. Probably went to her and said, you'll never guess what I read on this, blah, 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 blah. The owner of the store took that lady's word because she's a friend, and we do, don't we? We trust our friends, and got her all upset. I do not take back anything I say about any reviews that I make. They are my opinion. I state that all the time. These are just my opinion. Somebody else will have a different opinion, right? Because it happens. I like blue. There are people out there who hate blue. Are we going to have a war over it? No. You do you. I do me. That's all there is to it. So, if you're going to be in business, you've got to start developing a tough skin, because when you're out there on public, if you're on the internet, you're in public, you have to realize you will be susceptible to criticism. and you have to just accept that. I get it all the time as a content creator, and all my friends that are content creators do as well. And we have learned that it is best to just let it go, like water on a duck's back. Just let it roll off. In fact, sometimes when people make sarcastic or snotty comments on my channel, I just don't respond. And in the most severe cases, which are far and few between, I am happy to say, I just delete the comment because it's not positively contributing to my channel. So, I say to that lady, suck it up, honey. And maybe you should do your research first, because I gave you a good review. So you can go back to that video and watch it. I am not going to say the owner's name. It is not the same as the quilt shop or whatever. I'm leaving it at that. Okay, so here's my next review, and this is Needlecraft and Studio. This week's online quilt store is called Needlecrafts and Studio and is located in the lovely province of Manitoba, Canada. And this is their opening page, as you can see here. It says now open at 503 Park Avenue, formerly St. James Anglican Church. So this is a unique kind of setup. It looks like they have taken over an old church. So that would be cool. I don't know if they have any pictures of it on here, but we'll see. So here's the front page, as I said, Tilda's World Sanctuary. So they handle Tilda fabrics. Signature solids from Art Gallery. More Tilda. They have a cottage quilt. Rented lips. The cottage quilt kit is ready, and that's made with Tilda fabrics as well. So it looks like they're big fans of Tilda fabrics. And yeah, and they have DMC embroidery floss they're featuring as well. Recycled canvas, Trentex, and some projects, quilt kits. And they say that Needlecrafts and Studio is a brick and mortar shop in rural Manitoba specializing in carefully curated and high quality quilting fabrics, yarns, and notions, a place for classes, inspiration, and community. So it looks like they have all kinds of things. Before we look at the fabric, since we're here anyways, let's take a look at what their shipping is. Within Canada, all shipping is through Canada Post. Standard insurance is $100. All packages will be sent with tracking and insurance. Standard delivery times are between 2 to 7 days. Flat rate shipping of $14 will apply to most orders under $200. But orders over $200 before taxes will ship free. So that looks pretty good. They do send to the United States. Simply select it at checkout and you'll be notified by email when your order is ready. Oh, that's for local pickup. Sorry. US, I'm just looking here. You need to contact them via email to find out how much it's going to cost you for shipping. So it's all there for you, very upfront about the whole thing. So I'm very pleased with that. So we're at a 10 out of 10 so far on this shop. Let's take a look at their fabric selection and how they're organized. They have them organized by manufacturer, then they have pre-cuts and kits and more, substrate, so meaning what they're made of, and sale items, there's nothing under that. So let's take a look at, what shall we pick here? Well, let's look at Art Gallery fabrics because I love Art Gallery fabrics. So they have 6 pages of these, and it says $11.50. I imagine that's for half a meter. Yes, it's sold by half a meter. So $11.50 means it's $23 a meter. That's on the upper end of the scale. I'm taking off half a point for that because I can understand they're located in a rural area of Manitoba. So yes, things are probably more expensive for them in the shipping. Let's go back up here and see what else they have to choose from and if everything is the same price. What is another one that's very common? Um, well, they have Liberty fabrics. I bet you they're more expensive. Yeah, well, that's a bundle. Um, hmm, okay. Well, I would have expected that Liberty fabrics would have been more expensive, but they're actually less. They're $10 a half meter, so $20 a meter. So that's pretty darn good, I think. Um, okay, let's pick something else. Riley Blake, 950, 10, 11. Okay, their prices aren't bad on that. So it looks like from what, $19 to $22 a meter. So that's in the middle of the road there. So okay, their prices are not out of the way, but I'm still taking half a point off. Um, and they have Ruby Star. Okay, let's take a look at Tilda. I know a lot of people love Tilda. Um, they have 41 pages of Tilda, so they're definitely the place to go if you're looking for Tilda. And prices seem to be okay. A lot of these are kits they're showing here. Okay, fabric. Here we go. So $9.95, so just under $20 a meter, and that looks like that's the average price for that. Well, that one's expensive. For some reason, that particular 1 meter piece, that must be a panel. But yeah, really, prices are not terrible. So that's good. Okay, let's look at pre-cuts bundles. So those are pretty. Twist Fat Quarter Bundle, new colors, $67.50, sold out. They have a lot of things that seem to be sold out, especially in the bundles. Price-wise for the bundles, I think are in the ballpark. They're neither inexpensive or expensive, given in relative terms to what we're paying for fabric these days. Okay, let's go back up in here and let's see. Patchwork Manitoba. Wonder what that is. It's a kit. Okay. Oh, and it's in the shape of the province, essentially. Yeah, that's kind of cute. Um, okay. Pre-cuts. They have fat quarter bundles, of course, charm packs. Okay, this is a little pricey. That might be because it's specialized. The Hey Boo charm packs at $21. I'm used to paying anywhere between $15 to $18. Again, it could be their location. Fat quarter bundle that's sold out. Yeah, the ones I really like are sold out. But again, prices are reasonable in terms of what we pay for fabric, as I said before. Okay, and what else? Oh, that's pre-order. Oh, let's check out wide back. Okay, they have 3 pages of wide back, fairly neutral wide backs. Price-wise, looks like $16.50 to $19. I'm assuming that is not really sure, but that's probably half a meter. Nothing here on this page. Please note fabric is sold by the half meter. Weird how that came up on here. So yeah, it's sold by the half meter. So that's expensive, $38. But that's a special fabric right there. There are other fabrics if we go back, like for any of these ones that are solid colors. Still pricey. It looks like the lowest is $29 a meter and goes up to, what's that, $33 a meter. So yeah, expensive, but again, given what we pay for fabric these days, that's within the range. Okay, let's go over here. Looks like they sell Wonderfill threads, and they do, and they have them Visifill. $6.50. Do they say how big it is? 2-ply, 100 weight. Not really telling us what the length is. Okay, I would like to know what size spool that is, as I'm not sure what Wonderfill comes on. I'm taking half a point off for that. They've got all lots of other information, but I want to know. And I'm just double checking here to make sure I didn't miss it. Nope, nothing there tells me exactly how much is on the spool. Okay, what else do they have under Wonderfill? Confetti Deco Bob. Okay, so bobbins $15, $13.50 for class L, $15 for class 15. That's actually not a bad price. At my local quilt store, I think they're a little bit more expensive than that. I don't use Deco Bobs because I buy my stuff from Monfill, as you know, but nevertheless, that's okay. And they have pearl cotton. They have thread packs as well. So, yeah. So if you're into Wonderfill, they seem to have not a bad collection for that. Patterns. They have bag patterns, garment, home decor, and quilts, of course. And they don't have a lot to choose from. Yeah. Okay. Not really a lot there. And they all look like they may be from the same company as well. Angela Pendle Designs. I do not know that person. Oh, maybe because I hit that one. That's why. Go to all. Oh, here you go. They have 18 pages of patterns and standard pricing, I think, for patterns. Yeah. Okay. Handwork. Ada cloth, for those of you that are cross stitchers, or Angel's Art assorted kits. So they have a lot of hand embroidery, cross stitch kind of things. Okay. Fiber tools, knitting needles. So they do have beyond. Well, we saw that they had some garment patterns as well. So yeah, they have a little bit of everything. Zippers, machine needles. All right. Giftware. Yeah. Tutorials. Okay, tutorials. Bunting. Read more. Is this a class? Nope. This is looks like it's free. So under their tutorials, they have some freebies. Manitoba's Bake Shop Hop Mosaic Block, Tiny Frights 4-patch runner, reading pillow. Okay, so there's some freebies on here as well, so that's okay. Yarns, I guess if you're a knitter, it means nothing to me. They have quite a bit here for kids. Okay, Fluffy Animals by Craft. And a few things there too. And then of course DMC. Tilda's World, as we said before, they have a lot of Tilda. Ashford and Wheels looms. Oh, this is interesting. If you want to get into a little bit of weaving, they have supplies for that as well. Now, do they have classes? I thought I saw something. Yes, here we go. Classes. Well, telling you when payments due, but they're not listing any classes at all. So I'm going to take half a mark off that, half a point off for that, because maybe if I come back at another time, they will have classes listed on here, but I'd like to know whether or not they're, I can't get to their classes, but do they have them online as well? So, all their information here about everything. Currently, all classes are suspended due to COVID-19. Okay, this is old. This is old. Looks like they've never recovered from COVID-19 as far as classes are concerned. Well, they say they're in a rural area, so there is a possibility, it's difficult for them to run classes. Although in this day and age, you can do them on Zoom. You can put up videos. So, okay, and oh, I don't think I looked at Notions. Oh, I did look at Notions. Okay. All right. So that is Needlecrafts and Studio in rural Manitoba. Prices are a little bit on the high side, but not terribly so. Have a not a bad variety, and especially if you're into Tilda fabrics, you're going to find it there. And they had some Liberty fabrics as well, which is, you know, rare. So my overall rating for this, 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, so you may want to check them out. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this episode. But before I go, what's coming up? Pop-up Sew Day, but a special one. I call it the Christmas edition of the Idiot Quilter Pop-Up Sew Day. It will be on Saturday, December the 7th. So that's not this Saturday coming. It is 1 week from this Saturday. The link will be coming out in the show notes for all my videos next week, starting with my vlog on Monday. I will be sending out an email to those of you that are on my mailing list at the first of next week as well. Why is this one a special edition? We're going to do something a little different. Yes, bring your projects, get caught up, enjoy the company of other fellow like-minded quilters, however, or sewists, or creators. But if you have something that's related to Christmas that you would like to share with us in a show and share session, please bring it along. It could be a quilt that you currently just finished up for a gift for Christmas, or maybe it's one you made many years ago. It could be a Christmas decoration. It could be table runner, placemats. It could be a garment. Whatever. Something that maybe has a little bit of a story behind it, just a short one or whatever, or you just want to show it because you're proud of it. And so we can all go, ooh, that is gorgeous. And we'll do that throughout the day. The other thing is, if you want to get into the spirit, you can wear an ugly Christmas sweater if that's your thing. Personally, I don't own any ugly Christmas sweaters. I don't own any sweaters because I don't wear them. So I don't have an ugly Christmas sweater. But I might have something else. I don't know. So just something to get us all in the mood for Christmas, whatever. You might even want to bring along with you something to snack on during the day, like some Christmas cookies or Christmas treats or something like that. Or, you know, Christmas cocktails and be plastered by lunch. No, whatever. I'm not saying you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't. It's up to you. It's your party. You can do it. Okay? It's a party for us all. And the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have prizes. Now, okay, before you get all terribly excited about prizes, all right, let me tell you, not quite the same as the prizes I usually do on one of my retreats, okay? These will be patterns, Christmas-related patterns for things to make. And I will admit, some of them I have purchased myself. Most of them are freebies that I have scoured the internet over the last couple of days and found some really, what I think are really interesting patterns. And yeah, you could do the same thing, look for it, but why? I've done the work for you. So we're going to have draws, and I got a lot of them. So yeah, your chances of winning one of those prizes is pretty darn good, depending on the number of people that show up for the pop-up sew day. And the way you'll get the prize is it'll be almost instantaneous. Once you've won it, within about 10 minutes, you will have it because they're all digital. They're PDFs. I will just send it to you through your email, which I'll get from you or verify with you when I make the draw. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be very, very festive. I wish I could figure out a way to play a little bit of Christmas music in the background during the day through Zoom. And there is a facility for that, but it uses up a lot of bandwidth and it just doesn't work that well, I have found. So yeah, I'll just sing. No, I won't, because you'll run away real quick on that. So anyways, yeah, we're going to have some fun. That's on Saturday, December the 7th. It'll start, the doors will open at 8 a.m., but it's a come and go thing, as pop-up sew days always are. And we'll go until about 4:30 in the afternoon or so. Um, and yeah, it should be a hoot. Okay, so get your Christmas on at the pop-up sew day. So I hope you have a great week, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.